What it is, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video. And today, this is a request from Alpha Shocker. Been a while. No, I haven't uploaded anything since yesterday. But before then, it was almost 2 weeks. I've been busy. I'll just say that. But it's a recommendation from Alpha Shocker. It's a it look like a game review slash gameplay, something called Limbo of the Lost, the greatest bad game. That is a hell of a claim. This is from the YouTube channel Mandalore Gaming. I'll put a link in the description, so you go check out their channel yourself. They got like almost 600,000 subscribers, so they're doing pretty good, uh, to say the least. But this is a big claim. I think I can't. I'm very like I guess I'm a very easy person to please. So it's not a whole lot of games that I'm like, this game was horrible. I usually try to find something to enjoy, whether it was the story or the gameplay, or like, you know what, the graphics look really good. But I think the game that probably irritated me the most that I can remember off the top of my head was a game called Never Dead. And the only thing that the gameplay wasn't horrible. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. The story was, kind of okay. I guess it was basically like a demon. From what I can remember, it was like a demon slayer who was cursed with immortality by a demon, and then he'd be, going through the ages killing demons and working for some like organization. I guess you can kind of say like the paranormal was the Paranormal Department of Research and Defense from Hellboy. Kind of like that, I guess you can say. And the only thing about that was it was really one thing in that game that pissed me off. It was the one thing that, as far as your character would like body parts would explode off of them. Even it's everything, the head, everything, until like it's your arms and legs all over the place, and it's just your torso, your head going, and you have to roll over your body parts to collect them. Now, it seemed like that would be good on paper, but the execution, uh, just say they didn't get quite there. And it was, I remember it was one demon that would just like, it was basically like a leg and a big mouth, and it would just suck your head in. And it was already hard to maneuver with the head, just being a head, because you're just rolling around. And this thing would suck you in, and that pretty much end the game. Is I think that creature said like you would digest you for 1,000 years or some shit like that. And that used to irritate me. Also, it was platforming in that game where you would have to basically explode yourself. It was like you press a button and your whole body would just fall apart. And you had to like use your head to roll through obstacles and try to like jump, make your head jump and stuff like that. And that was irritating. Uh, uh, like even now, I'm trying to think of ways to defend it because I think it had something. It's just I think it was more so the gameplay. That's one thing about things I play. I haven't played a video game in a long time. Well, I shouldn't say that. I haven't played a video game consistently in a long time. But that game is just I don't know, something about that game. And I say consistently because I'll give you a little trivia for those of you who don't know. This started out as a gaming channel like so many years ago. I had a multiple gameplays up. The first name of this channel. And I bring this up because Alpha Shocker said if I'm a gamer, which I am. I still claim to be a gamer. Yes, I got a desktop computer now. It's not a gaming PC. I wanted to build one, but I started looking at the prices for building. I was just like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna buy a PC. So maybe I'll do that later. You know, I start getting more subscribers and things and stuff. But like right now, no. But anyway, my YouTube channel name used to be called. The first name was Gaming Scholar, or I think it was a Gaming Scholar or Game Scholar. One of them. And then I remember looking. I said, I wonder if anybody else name is that. It was like 5 or 6 other people named Game Scholar. This thing is hitting. Should have moved that damn thing. So I want something unique. So then I was thinking of trying to figure out a name to change it to. And I happened to be watching a movie called Open Fire. It's an old, like, I think like early 90s martial art movie with Jeff Wincott. And and I was like, oh, I'll name my channel Open Fire Gaming. And change my name to Open Fire Gaming. It was I had some other names too in it, but I can't remember. I just remember the first one and then what I had for a while until what I have now. And then had a bunch of games up. I had all the Uncharted games. I had the most recent God of War game. I had some other games, but I can't remember off the top of my head that had full playthroughs of. But one thing is, I actually hate the sound of my own voice and listening to it in recordings. So I didn't really edit the videos. It was just I recorded them, I edited them in such a way because I was recording them on my PlayStation because I didn't have like a video card or anything like that at the time, a video capture card. So they only record for an hour. So I would just take them off my PlayStation, put them on an external hard drive, upload them on YouTube. And I didn't listen to the audio or anything. Had a bunch of videos. I think I had Lara Croft, the first game when they remastered it. They rebooted it. And I had started doing the second Lara Croft game. And then somebody commented on it. They was like, can you edit that noise out of the video? It sounds like a fan zone. I looked at the video. I looked at like Uncharted 2 or 3 or something like that. Oh no, I think it was 4. And the audio was horrible. Like you could barely hear me. What I had done was I had recorded those videos, and I thought it might have been the headset I had, because I have another mic headset that the sound like this one that I use now. I don't use the mic, but I just still use the earphones. I recorded those videos with a fan in front of me, so it was blowing directly into the mic, and it created this. I mean, the fan was probably like 2 feet from me, and it was in the summer when I played a lot of those games, so it was hot because I was taking summers off from school, college obviously, and and the audio was horrible on all the games. I still got some up that I didn't have the fan on, like some UFC games I played, and I did. And this was after I realized that. I played the demo for I think Resident Evil 2. I think that's still called like One Shot or something like that, because you can only play that demo once. But that and then I ended up changing my name because I still plan on doing gaming. I've been planning on doing it since like starting doing gaming, because now I have a fuck ton more games that I haven't even played. But I keep saying I'm gonna start a gaming channel, and I got a bunch of games. I bought a video capture card, I think early last year. Still haven't used it. Still haven't played the games. I keep saying I'm gonna do it. And then I've been editing videos for reacting to TV shows. Stuff it takes a lot of editing to keep from getting like a copyright claim, or worse yet, a strike. So it takes a lot to do that. But playing the games, I mean, I have time to. So I was like, I'll record for like 4 hours maybe on this day or something, or 2 hours that day, or so whatever. I could do it. I have the time to do it. I just don't. I just haven't done it. But yeah, I will get back because I plan on streaming too. But streaming, like more probably just streaming open world games, and then recording and uploading. I guess more narrative driven games, kind of like the Uncharted again series again, but like more open world. I mean, like the Assassin's Creed or um, the GTA. I've been wanting to play GTA 5 Story. I really like GTA 5 Story. I've been wanting to play Vice City because I've never actually. I played a demo of that game years ago, but I've never actually played the game. And I got a bunch. I got San Andreas. I got Grand Theft Auto 3. I wanted to play. I got Bully. I wanted to play those games. I was going to probably record and put on YouTube, and then like I said, open world games. Well, maybe I might stream Bully because that is from what I've seen of it. It's kind of like open world, kind of. So I might, if yeah, I get around to. I got so many games. Like I probably wouldn't even be able to finish them. I'm that old now that my backlog is so big that I probably wouldn't be able to be. I can't. I bought The Last of Us Part Two. I was planning on playing that because I started a playthrough of The Last of Us. Still then and end up taking weeks off not playing it. Forgot how to play it. Still need to do that. Then I'll end up buying Last of Us Part Two. It's funny because the controversy that made me want to play it. Because I was like, I want to see if it's that bad. Like, so I bought it. Still haven't played that. Haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn. I've owned that for years. Haven't played that. It's yeah. But yeah, that's the trivia. This used to be. It started out as a gaming channel, and now it's a reaction channel. But it's going to be both soon. I will do it. I am going to do it. But I've talked long enough. How long have I talked? I said I won't talk that long. Probably talk like 10 minutes, 12 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Maybe I'll put a, a timestamp if y'all want to skip that. But anyway, let's just get into this. All right. Here we go.
Hurry up, Fringy. Shake a leg. Get a move on. Oh, no, 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 no.
What the fuck? Okay, that audio's. That's another thing. I need to make an intro. I've been meaning to make an intro for years. Still haven't made one.
To put it bluntly, it's abysmal. There are feature-length videos talking about how bad it is. On top of that, it was using assets that appear to be stolen from other games.
Wait a minute, I think I heard of
I saw
this.
some people calling this the biggest scam in gaming, but I remembered a story very similar to this one, not too long ago actually. Imagine a game that stole at least 10 times as much stuff but got a physical release. Well, it's here. It's actually right here on my desk. Highly enjoyable. I was
Oh, you got gloves
for the
on.
first few minutes. I've never heard of any of these websites, but I do agree that it is a highly enjoyable game. As you can
I
tell
think
from the
I
title,
did
this
see. I
isn't
saw
just
someone
going to
play
be a
through
review
this.
time. It's going to be
Well,
a little
not through the
different.
whole
So in
thing,
the spirit of
obviously.
Hunt Freeman, I'd like to share a game that's so bad it's good, but also so much more. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started.
Forget reality. Surrender to your darkest dreams.
This is maybe the best advice you'll get in the whole game. When you start it up, you get a cutscene
Oh,
of someone falling
Spawn.
from fire.
Really?
It's from the
They
movie
used that? I
Spawn.
thought he just
I
put
don't
that in
mean
there.
they ripped it off. I mean, they literally took this scene from the movie Spawn.
I thought he
and they just made it their intro. The only thing different they did was putting a border around it. And the border itself, taken from a World of Warcraft wallpaper. The game hasn't begun, and there are already 2 lawsuits waiting to happen. It came
Damn.
out in 2008. This wasn't, Wild West internet. I'm not going to play the whole intro, but there are only 3 people listed in the credits, and that's probably why. Also, I have no clue what anyone's saying or what's happening. Give a listen to the audio mixing.
Wow. Should turn that music down or something like.
This will come up again
Sheesh.
later, but even if you could hear them, it wouldn't make a difference.
Oh.
Finally, we get to the prologue, featuring a vaguely adjusted Battle for Middle-earth loading screen. Then, it begins.
Yeah, I think I've seen somebody do a review of something. Shit. Do a review of this.
Do not be fearful of me. I am to help, not to hurt. I am friend.
Where do you even start with something like this? Well, first of all, the style of cutscene may be familiar to some people. I couldn't understand what it was until later. It's a spiritual successor to the CDI Zelda
What?
cutscenes. It has all the ingredients.
Really?
Oh boy, I'm so hungry I could eat an Octorok.
Arak doesn't tell you about your backstory or why you're there, but
Okay.
he tells you to stay away from the dark ones. Well, I guess he tells the main character Briggs, because you, the player, are a character.
Yes, yes. Look, they're on the other side. Whoa.
Oh,
When you
so
finally get to
so
playing, it
meta.
seems like any typical adventure game. Limbo the Lost is entirely in 2D, which is awkward. At best, the Briggs model just seems out of place compared to everything else. At its worst, the game just doesn't know how to handle him. A lot of the backgrounds look jagged and awful, and in theory, this could be fixed with anti-aliasing. I tried setting it up to maximum, and as far as I can tell, it doesn't do anything. Oh right, like I just said, this is a 2D game, so that's a screenshot. Why have the option? That is incredible. Sometimes character sprites will double over each other in different positions. The art style can change every other room. Basically, the visuals are a mess on a technical and artistic level. Some people play adventure games to explore aesthetically pleasing worlds, and this isn't one of those. Limbo the Lost keeps you entertained by being half freak show and half scavenger hunt. For example, the first room you're in, stolen from Return to Castle Wolfenstein. The entire beginning of the game is. I'm not going to show all of it, so it would take forever. Just seeing what's stolen is fun, but there's so much more. For example, here's going up a set of stairs.
The hell?
Never explained, it just happens. That's the story for this game. Things happen.
Like he looking at the player like,
Oh, faggots the name and cooking's my game.
wow.
It's not a joke. The character's name is Cranny Faggot, and we're still in the prologue.
Go away.
Hey, maybe it's like a different era,
Black Hawk only trusts
2008.
I hope you can understand why this is beyond the regular video format. This is going to be a house tour / history lesson of an insane asylum. I'm not going to show all the good parts, but I'm going to break some things down, show some stolen stuff, and show how it doesn't work. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I'm no stranger to sound issues in games. However, Limbo the Lost has a unique one that I haven't seen anywhere else. There are no audio options, not even volume control. Fair enough. I can just lower it in the volume mixer. This works for a little bit. Whoa, what happened? The
Whoa.
sound level just jumped back up. Whenever you change your room, your volume spikes back up to your default.
Wow.
I've never seen something like this.
Interesting.
It's running some kind of check every time it loads a new room and then sets your audio up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never seen that
The big
either.
technical issue is that the game is prone to crashing. It seems to be random, but right here, I can swear
What's
that
that?
Briggs crashes the game. Well, there's your port report, PC Master Race. Luckily, you can load from the splash screen, or anywhere else in the game. If the conversation is going too long and you're worried about crashing, you could just pause the game and save in the middle of it. So the crashing isn't as big of a deal as it should be. By the way, check out the menu. The unpause button being back to hell is pretty funny, but look at the gargoyle. I won't run out of these anytime soon.
What?
Technical issues are for the most part weird and
Well, I
not
mean,
big
people
issues.
reuse
Making a
assets
So
all
Bad
the
It's
time.
Good game is much harder than a So Bad It's Good movie.
Like-
With something like The Room, you just pop it in and watch Tommy do his thing. This is why good bad games are hard to find. A bad game is like having Tommy Wiseau make the movie, but also the DVD it's carried on, and the DVD player. I've seen some people say that Hunt Down the Freeman is a So Bad It's Good game, but it's really not. If you're spending more time lost or feeling frustrated than laughing at the works of a madman, it's just not a good bad game. I don't think games that are designed to be broken like Goat Simulator should count for the category, but I'm not the expert. There's just something special about seeing someone's different brain working at full capacity on a passion.
Different
Limbo the Lost
brain.
started development sometime in the early 90s.
That was a nice way of
20
putting
years
it.
went into this. So the fact that it's
20
functional and relatively
years.
hassle-free in a modern system is a blessing. So now I'm going to show you how the game is played. The interface is very simple. You can right-click anywhere in the game world to open up a Ouija board. On an object, you can sense it, look at it, take it, or perform an action on
I
it.
think this
In
is
reality, you'll only be using
funnier
abilities and not sense.
if this was not intentional on the
Sense
game
of smell,
developers.
but
like
those things
they
are
didn't
different.
intentionally do this, it'd be funny. It's like
99% of objects in the game will say that. When it comes to
Rousseau,
inventory,
whatever
you
fuck
just
is, who
mouse
did
to
the
top of
room.
the screen to
Like he
access
was
them.
making a
You can use
serious
actions on
movie,
these items as well.
but everyone else
For
was like,
example, for
okay,
the
this
letter,
is
you can use the welcome
hilarious.
command and then read it.
This is a comedy,
Well, I
right?
guess Cranny Faggot likes a drop of the hard stuff.
Oh, cranny. I thought you said granny faggot.
Ah. Let me know if you see anything that I miss. Anyway, some of the letters only open main menu options. You won't get all the letters until about the last 10 seconds of the game. Since you also click to move around as well, you
That's
don't need your
interesting.
keyboard for any of this. So the controls are fine and the UI is passable except for two flaws. That compass is always spinning. You might be saying, so what, it's spinning around. Well, just wait. When the levels will start turning into a maze, this is going to get into your head. To give it credit, it will stop moving when you mouse over an exit, but it might not always stop in the exact right place. Like right here, it stops moving for a moment, but I click there and I can't move off it. Nope, that didn't do it. Oh my
Old
God.
faithful.
Finally, there we go. Interesting piece. I saw those skulls just everywhere. Well, once again, it's more Diablo. And a shield of all things.
Interesting.
Naturally, you expect bad adventure game logic for the puzzles. And don't worry, those are there.
What the
It just takes it
fuck?
farther into crazy person logic.
I'm still waiting on the it's so bad it's good. As far as what I've seen is just bad.
But enough to give you an idea of what to expect.
I'd probably play this game maybe for an hour or two before I was like, fuck this.
How lovely. Oh, what the? Oh, sorry. I forgot. Hang on. Do not be afraid.
What the fuck? Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's much better. Appreciate that.
The prologue is brief, but it serves as a perfect introduction to the game. Your main goal is to steal a key from a jailer known as Grunger, or Grunger, depending on who you're talking to, and escape the level. To get the key, you need to make a sleeping potion and knock him out and snatch it from his neck, except he's already asleep. Huh. What's interesting is how they were able to weave the stolen backgrounds together into something
Oh, for
consistent.
them cranny
Like I said before, the
feck.
very beginning is from Wolfenstein, but the later parts of the prologue are from a different game, an Xbox hack and slash called Enclave, or Enclave, depending on where you're from. This is what you would go out and rent before the Souls games were invented. Back in the day, we just called
Oh,
it Sweet
I think
Souls,
I've seen
before
this.
we went to Swedish. Man, this reminds you of the good
I think
stuff. Anyhow, I went on a sightseeing.
I think I've
tour
seen
of several locations.
Funhouse or
All
somebody
the
play
Limbo the
that.
Lost backgrounds are
that
really zoomed in,
Enclave.
the colors adjusted, but it's not enough to hide it, especially if someone's looking for it. However, Enclave is integrated into the game a little bit differently than the others in one area. In the prologue, you meet a trapped character who's hanging in a suspended cage, and he doesn't shut up. It's a joke that goes on way too long, but I like the skeleton in the background. You need to collapse the cage so you can grab his arm and then throw it into the sleeping potion you're making. You go to the room above the cages and see the two ropes suspending them. There's a huge lever in the room, but it does nothing when you try to action it. Plus, I can see that these ropes are attached to a gate. Meanwhile, I found the same room in Enclave. They did try to hide this a little bit more by flipping the screen around. Good hustle. So you pull the lever and it raises the gate. The one you can clearly see. In Limbo the Lost, you have to be Captain Kleptomaniac to put together a torch and then burn down the rope.
I no. They did when the developers made this. This is
Meanwhile,
clearly
no,
a joke.
hit slash
Ain't no
bonus.
way.
Maybe they thought that the puzzles
There's
were too
no
similar, so made their own torch
way.
puzzle to differentiate from it. But in that case, why leave
They were
the
trying to
lever
make this
there? Did they not
serious.
have anybody who could Photoshop it out? I haven't gotten there yet, but it's not even the most blatant plagiarism. Not even close. So what came first, the torch or the lever? Was the puzzle based around a stolen level, or did the puzzle come first and they just made the level fit into it somehow? Well, I think I have the answer.
That's an
Remember when I
ugly
said it
ass
was in
bitch.
development for nearly 20 years? Well, they released a demo in 1995 for the Amiga 32. The 88th issue of the Amiga Computing magazine only had some images of it, but the 11th issue of a magazine called Amiga CD32 Gamer had a demo. As far as I can tell, issue 11 has lost the time, but the demo isn't. Time to fire up the emulator.
What a stink. And before you say it, it isn't me.
I don't know. That kind of annoys
It
me.
used to be so much better back in the day. They kept the same line. Wow, it'll have hordes of monsters. I've got to admit, this game looks a lot nicer than the one they released.
Stark,
Try logic.
The Amiga version is actually more of a pain because you have to cycle through more options with the mouse by right-clicking.
It's a locked door.
What makes it unbearable is if you don't do something for 7
Well, I
seconds,
guess
it
they
stops the game.
was this
Hello?
This is also a
16-bit.
demo, so I don't want to have to keep restarting it. It's really reminding me of CDI Zelda now. But wouldn't you know it, it's the exact same first puzzle. Grabbing the torch, combining it with the human fat, and lighting it in the cauldron. The exact same thing.
Nah. This brew's designed to chew, not spew.
What a weirdo.
This demo is going to have some more important...
I would say the artistic choice in the other one
It was an original game
looked
being made,
better
so it wasn't a
than
complete
this.
scam of grabbing things from other games and designing it around that. That being said, there are stolen elements that are just lazy. For example, all the signs are using a Lord of the Rings font. Why not use a
They
font
just
that
feels
doesn't
like
use
a
It's a shame
a
because the elements
game
that are original
that
are
would be
genuinely
free
bizarre
on
and
some
funny.
website that you randomly get on. You looking at Dragon Ball Z pictures online back in the early 2000s.
The sleep potion isn't that far.
Oh, you can play this game, and this feel like this would be that type of game, which is a lot of those games I played back
Granny's
then
potion calls for liquor, so you
on
think
my
you can find some
desktop
liquor somewhere,
computer.
but you can't. You fill a jar with water, combine it with a worm, and then you have tequila. That's dumb, but only a taste of what's to come. And back from the sewer water, here's your booze, Madam Faggot. You wake up the jailer to give him the potion that puts him back to sleep, and then grab his key. And you're done.
Grubs up. My favorite.
What is with these camera and like?
Chapter complete. The tutorial. I'd usually be in the middle by now, but everything's all messed up in this video. And so begins Chapter 1.
I, young man,
Chapter
am the keeper
1.
of lost souls. You have done well to get this far.
What is this place?
To some, this is home. To others, it is a halfway house between their world and the next.
Okay, was that from
Is the
Pinhead?
keeper of lost souls.
I mean, it sounds similar to that.
So tell me, am I dead? What?
Is that a yes? What was the point in that?
Sorry about that. Don't know what came over me.
We are off to an excellent start.
Okay.
This is when the levels start to open up and the true madness begins. There are a bunch of coffins you could grab items from, but several of them are red herrings and they don't do anything. There are also 3 items, 2 of which
What
you
the
need to complete stuff, but you can only hold one at a time. One gift to rule them all. Some of the investigating is odd and lacks visual cues. I use take on an empty eye socket and I get a glass eye out of it. Why not just have an eyeball there? Chapter 1's beginning is all about
yeah.
teaching you not to
Why
trust what
not?
you can see.
Yeah, they gotta be
This bridge
different.
has rotting
All right,
plates
this
that
is
break
a
it
this is
apart.
a
Items
unique
I collected didn't
experience.
help me out, but here's the answer. You go to the entrance of the level and pick up an entire coffin.
I would,
lid.
you
Or
know,
could use
at
on the
first I
bridge
would think
across.
this is like a Dracula game or
That
something.
doesn't look safe to me. Your perspective really gets thrown off in this level. Not long after you
Maybe
find
that's
out
what I'm
it's a
thinking
satanic
about when I
dog
thought I
bowl.
saw somebody play this. It was
Oh, don't tell me. I was really expecting
a
dog
movie
bowl.
version.
Maybe the model from the game.
I'm not movie version. A game based on the Dracula movie with
Oh my
Gary
God, they
Oldman
did
and
it.
Keanu Reeves. It kind of
Right,
looked like
I
that.
see
The
it.
way he moves like that. It kind of looks like that.
And stop. Actually, they are 3 separate dogs, so it's not a complete ripoff. But then why only show one dog bowl in the cutscene? The world may never know. To keep the dogs distracted, you have to put a bone in each of their bowls. For every bone you put in, a gate opens up. This room is a 3-door hub to the rest of the level, so ideally you want all the doors open at once. The only place you can get a bone is from the first room, but you can only carry one at a time. It's about a minute trek each way, and there's no special event or challenge, it's just to waste your time. As for the level itself, it's interesting in that it's not only plagiarizing, but also recycling plagiarized material. It's mainly Painkiller, the catacomb level to be exact. All they did here was slightly angle the screenshots they took and sometimes slap some signs around. Dead Man's Drop, Dead Man's Curve, Dead Man's Gorge. I wish I was dead. I wouldn't call it a maze because there's only so many directions you can go, but
Wish
it
I
is
was
annoying.
dead instead of playing this
In the average
game.
adventure game, some stuff you can figure out on your own, but others are
What
just
the fuck? Did he just throw that glass out that two-headed bird?
No buts. Now, go.
Do you know what? Every gift tells a story.
I would be really excited to see Briggs in the new Smash. While there are more elaborate...
Oh my god,
there's a really
they
simple one
they
that shows
they
the-
had to be in on the joke. There's no way.
Eventually, you'll need a soul of a warrior to get past a statue that's drunk and sounds like Predator. You need to switch the real green soul bottle with a decoy that you make yourself. So you fill up an identical looking bottle with water, that's a good start, but what do you mix it with? You use a bag of saffron. Now saffron spice is typically more red colored. The color saffron is named after the tips of the flowers that make the spice. So assuming it is a bag of the spice, it'd be more red colored, but we can pretend that it's all golden saffron tips. So you combine the yellow saffron with the water and you get green. Because water is blue and saffron is yellow and blue plus yellow equals green, water isn't paint, at least not in my part of the country yet.
Well, I guess that would make sense it would be
First level also
muffled
has the first of 3 hidden
if
items.
someone's
The
speaking
only
from
save game
inside the
left of
coffin.
stairwell here. It's not horrible, but a little too out of the way.
But you can barely
Rest
hear
assured,
what that
each one of these
person's
will be worse than
saying.
the last.
So it's kind of annoying. The fuck? Did he just do this? And make
I think
like
that's enough of chapter 1. Like I
like-
said before, I'm only giving you a taste of what's in store.
what is this?
The sewers.
How does he
Really
keep this
incredible
shit-eating
how
grin on
we're
his
learning and
face?
talking to so many people. We're now 2 chapters in, and we only know that we're a chosen one and that we're stuck in limbo. The story offers just about zero intrigue. Like anything so bad that's good, you just keep playing to see what happens. It still might be best to play this game in bursts. The ambient audio never stops looping, but this one soundbite is the worst.
Nah, yeah, it was this
Roughly
game.
every 2 minutes. It's also a stolen sound effect from the Hammer Hansen Thief.
Oh shit. I guess you met
Slash
Jigsaw.
level has the most plagiarized things I could recognize without looking stuff up. The first screen, once you pass into the sewer, is from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Most of the gross sewers
really?
seems to be the Hollywood sewers. There's an entire room filled with Morrowind items. There's a set of orcish armor and a bunch of weapon models they just retextured. This won't be the last we see of Elder Scrolls games, not even close. There's also this Greek helmet in the corner I thought was from Google Images. After looking around, it turned out to be the Dusk Deep helm from Diablo 2. Incredibly, I don't think this is the most blatant plagiarism in the game yet. That won't be until next chapter. Chapter 2 does have one of my favorite stolen assets, the flute. Not the instrument itself, but the song. Okay, they had a little Indiana Jones tune. So what? Well, it's more than you think. They didn't bother to whistle the tune themselves, but
Wow.
instead took an Easter egg from Serious Sam. That is impressive. As for the game, it's very similar to Chapter 1. Once again, there are 3 main doors, except this time
This,
you can only open one at a time.
wow, this game.
The puzzles themselves
I'm
are
sorry.
even
I
more
don't. I like to
complex
give
and
developers
you see the important item
the
in
benefit
sewer?
of the doubt,
It's
but
not the
this
tail,
game look like
it's
it
the star, not the
sucks.
glowing picture on the wall. It's a piece of wood on the back desk. You can only click on
Like-
about 2 pixels of it. So you
Like
can
I've
look right
seen
over it
games
easily.
that, like I said,
This is
that
the
look
second
bad,
most hidden object
and I
in the game.
get them
As
anyway.
for narrative, at one point Briggs
But
sneaks up on an old man and then puts a
I don't even
want
want to play this.
That seems a bit excessive, so why would he do that?
I guess maybe somebody, if I was able to get my hands on it, somebody offered me a lot of money to play it. But oh my god.
Oh neat, Thor's hammer.
Why you stop that dumbass smile at the end of
Logic is
everything?
running on empty in chapter 2.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna move on to the only real plot and character driven level in the game.
Like-
Chapter 3.
I know, like the audience is like the player is supposed to be a character. I guess it is too, but they don't fucking look at me. We both suffering through this shit.
Why is the music double overlaying? Dark mirror.
He's very, very worried about you, and I'm a little bit worried myself about being worried about your friend being worried about you being worried about this, and I want you to take it so I don't have to worry no more.
Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly. What? Fuck just what? She trying to.
Soul Taker! Soul Taker!
Her audio is way better than the main characters. What? Dark Mirror is the first time you can learn more about the inhabitants and where you are. It's refreshing. After doing random tasks with very little story drive, it's nice to have some narrative. Briggs has been accused of being a monster called the Soul Taker.
This guy sounds
You're in
like
prison
me.
in a
Like he's
very
really
familiar
trying to
looking
get his
cell, but
game
It's not for long. You find your way.
any credit he can. Like he's not coming in being extremely dismissive of it. He's trying. I give him that. I give him props for that. He's trying.
The mayor appoints his detectives, so now you need to interview people, gather
What is
clues,
with
and
the
find the real Soul Taker.
audio
Apple
in this
LA
game?
Lore Clue book. Why is the snow not cold? That's a good
Oh,
start.
okay.
And so begins the most.
I mean, I would be
unbelievable
concerned
playthroughs
about
ever.
that as well. I mean, apparently they had what,
You cannot
like
miss
metal snow or some
Nearly
shit
every
in
single
Texas.
interior
At least
is
that's
like that
what
of Oblivion.
people were
It's not
saying.
remotely
It's
subtle.
metal
They
snow.
copy
It
floor
doesn't
plans
even
entirely.
melt.
The Shivering Isles expansion had come out just the year before. This could have been
Oh
on the same
man,
shelf as Oblivion. People were actively playing this game. How could they think no one would
no,
notice?
it's not their fault. It's, I
Mind-blowing.
blame the
There's no other
education
way to put it.
system.
Out of all the things that people might miss, you took entire levels from a popular AAA game that was still on shelves. Even then, they still managed to screw up the background. I still play modded Oblivion from time to time.
Why
so
is
I can go right
everybody
through
in
the
this
first
game
edition bookstore.
hideous
Here he is behind
except for the
counter.
main character?
Here's the back view. You enter the building from the wrong side.
Everybody looks like
The
a
register
fucking
facing the
corpse.
clerk, the books facing
Like, is
outwards, it's all
everyone
mixed up.
supposed to be
They couldn't
revived
get the chair
corpses?
completely out of the shot. This feels like having an out-of-body experience. The fact that living human beings thought they could do this and make money off of it without getting in trouble is mind-boggling. Now, would be a
Did
good
they
time to
get
bring up the
sued?
fire. Since they just screenshotted the level, they needed animated.
He might
torches.
talk about it.
All
In
the
this.
fire in
I'm
the game
curious.
uses
Did
fire.gif.
they get any
They
lawsuits
downloaded the
against
fire
him?
GIF, put it on the Oblivion screenshot, level completed. It wasn't even the first time in the game they took Oblivion assets. But Dark Mirror is chock full of them. It's unreal. Literally unreal. Unreal Tournament 2004. Except they were taking and editing user maps. So they took all these measures to change the map from some map maker, but not the major studio game owned by ZeniMax.
Oh, mate. Oh, dear.
I can never return to first edition.
The
So,
fuck?
what is there to see in Cyrodiil? There are several interesting characters. You might not be able to talk to them for long, but what's there is really
This
good.
makes never
Much like the
did
real
like a
Oblivion, however,
fucking
it's held back by the amount
masterpiece.
of voice actors
Like,
they have. Much of Dark Mirror's population is voiced by one
Like
guy
game of the
switching his
year
voice up and
compared to
down
this
and
shit.
making funny voices.
It seems we have done you a great injustice, my good fellow. My dear friend and trusted advisor, OhMyItsEli.
To read the story on this, like, where the fuck is he at? That he's the only person who looks like a normal person. Like, everyone else looks weird. Even this bitch.
I haven't even got a sister.
Mister, I'm a man.
For an age, it seems that this has been going on, one after another.
What the that's the voice that mummy.
There are two actors with better equipment, but they have their own issues. Sometimes you can hear the click of someone starting to record it in the background.
My pleasure, Mr. Detective. Now, you sure nothing takes your fancy before you go?
Detective? I say, detective. We found another one.
What's his face moving? You see his face moving like independently all of
Well,
us.
at least he died peacefully.
Can you help me find the Soul Taker?
Mon Dieu, s'il vous plaît, monsieur. Do not say those two words within this house. Shadows may seek.
She looks bored. She's
What is this game?
Hey, come on. Give her a chance at least.
What? Detective Briggs is a mix of both the best and the worst the game has to offer. Exploring the town and finding clues are more engaging than any other chapters, at least until you hit a wall. Unlike the previous levels, Dark Mirror is expansive. They even give you a map that lets you teleport around town at some point.
man.
Now, this was great for a while.
That made me
but it's
hot.
trying to trick you. When you and your deputy find another victim of the Soul Taker, sometimes you'll automatically pick up his items. This saves hassle at first, but it doesn't always work this way. Sometimes a cutscene will end and the game will automatically have you leave the area, but you don't want to leave, you want to go back. There are items being left behind that don't show up in the previous screen, so you always want to double check. Here, I can see the key on the floor, but the game has me walk right past it, and I have to go back and get it. If I wasn't paying attention, I could have been screwed from that and had to look all over town to find the right item. The stolen level design that's not touched up makes it even harder than it should be. That light really is an exit on the Unreal map, but in here, it looks like one, but you can't go through it. This Frankenstein of a game isn't even stitched up right. Sometimes an area that had nothing might have items appear there later. Keep checking the journal. If something's not crossed off, you have to go back later. I could follow the plot up until Briggs was hiding in a stable.
Those horses, they're like they
So
didn't render
it's
right.
like hiding in the corner, and these characters walk in, and then one says horses for courses. I've played this a few times now, and I have no idea what this means, but it's the key.
Crash for ass.
There was only one point when I was really scared.
Why?
It's a nightmare.
I don't get.
At some point when you leave first edition books, you get hit with a snowball.
Whoa.
Oh,
The
that
notes
like that was
just
going in
one point in,
slow
and I'm glad
motion.
The game points it out. I'm serious. There's so many typos and spelling errors that you might think differently. I look all around the inn and I don't.
Now
see
maybe
any
English
single
isn't their
accident or
first
switch
language.
or button or anything. Maybe the note meant there's another way to go
Anytime I
inside
see
and
something from a
outside.
foreign studio
So I explore the areas
and it's in
around the inn,
English
but
and there's a
I
lot of
still don't
misspellings,
find
I'm
it.
like, eh.
So here's
Maybe
the
the
answer.
English wasn't their
The
first
horrible,
language. It
horrible
just,
answer. First, you have to go behind
I
the
mean, they
bar to
could,
the
you know,
exact spot in the corner.
double
Then you mouse around
check
for a magic
they
exit.
work, but
No text prompt comes up. Your hand
I
just
give 'em the
changes shape
benefit
for
of the
half a
doubt.
second. You have to be standing in the right place, so I have to keep waving around to do it right. Up, nope, there we go. Now you're in the Secret Oblivion dungeon. That, by far, is the biggest blocker in the game. Now I can just grab these Baldur's Gate cloaks and be done with it. When I finally found the big piece of evidence, I nearly had a stroke. I'm gonna leave that as a surprise. When you have all the evidence, Briggs brings it to the court. Not since A Time to Kill has there been a speech quite like this one. He's trying to reach a word count.
No. This is an evil, greedy, corrupt society, whose lust for wealth and power means that they will stop at nothing to get what they want.
why did he put a comma? But he didn't pause between greedy and corrupt.
A fine, upstanding people, ladies and
That
gentlemen.
a chick? What was it?
These people that you know and recognize. Take a good look.
I timed it. This goes on for 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and you cannot skip it. It actually sounds like an essay being read aloud. He drags out every piece of evidence he found. I could feel myself being pulled into the void when suddenly one of the greatest cutscenes in video games begins.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your soul.
I just want to punch him in his face. And that's the end of the game. Okay. No.
The Soul Taker has been banished. Your mare has been returned.
Absolute art.
With the
It's never explained what
fucking
he
wink.
did. It's great. So it's time to move to the 4th chapter, after the troll removes all of our items.
The fourth. That does feel like the ending. Okay, so he's dead.
Who do you think you are throwing your weight around like this?
The machine.
No,
Chapter
no,
4 sucks.
no.
Not in a funny way, it just drags out too little for way too long. As far as I know, this map is made entirely from Unreal maps. Way too few. This is a case study in how not to pad out your adventure game. It has a map similar to Dark Mirror, albeit much smaller. All of the numbered tower locations are completely identical, except some have items. Tower 1 and 2 have nothing, a complete waste of time. Tower 3's only item is right outside the train. There's no reason to explore the rest. So there's not a lot to see, but the game knows it. There are two objects that really stick out
It's
when
like
you
as,
interact with them.
as they get
You have to
further
do
and
other
further
minor
in the
tasks, and
chapters,
when they show up, you can
game
pick them.
develops like, I don't give a fuck. Just put something in there.
Something I expected, but it didn't happen.
Just put the
until-
item right
The only
outside
good
the
things
train,
about it are the cutscenes.
so they can pick it up and get right back on the train.
You can beat it all in 10 minutes. So now's a good time to talk about background stuff before the final chapter. Oh my god, the whole country is a circle.
I, madam, am Benjamin Spooner Briggs, captain of the Mary
Spooner Briggs.
Spooner Briggs, captain of the Brigandine Mary Celeste.
Spooner. That sound like a fucking porn name.
But you don't learn a lot
Spooner.
about him.
Spooner
You learn
Briggs.
some things from the bonus disc. It's an enlightening piece of media. For starters, it has an entire intro cutscene that's not in the game. Yeah, when you're just thrown into it all with no context, this was supposed to be in front of it. Why it's not actually in the game, I
To
have no
Mary
idea.
Celeste.
It has
What?
an intro, credits, titles pop up, and it's way more elaborate than the one the game has. I can only put it down as another mystery. Anyways, the weird vampires in the intro are brothers named Destiny and Fate. But aren't those the same thing? I guess destiny usually has more positive connotation than fate, but still.
Aren't those the
Anyhow, Briggs
same
gets lost in the Bermuda Triangle. It has some live action footage that people debate over the source of, but they definitely didn't make it. It
Yeah,
explains that Briggs is on an island in his
that looked like that might
the
have been
future of
from
mankind. Those are higher stakes looking
Dracula.
intros. Wait, that's the Crisis demo. Maybe they scrapped it because they knew they weren't allowed
The
to use it. It's still incredibly
Gary
big, but better than what the game came
Gary
with.
Oldman
It even
one.
shows why Briggs is flying through the big hell portal from Spawn. So Briggs
Okay,
is
so
still
he's in
useful, and this
hell.
doesn't
Okay,
change
I guess
that. But here's where it gets strange. Captain
guess that's
Benjamin
what that
Stewart
meant.
Briggs was a real man. His ship, the Mary Celeste, was also real and was found derelict.
Oh,
a
he
few
was
days
on.
after
I
this
didn't
game
know.
takes
I've heard of
place.
Mary
Briggs
Celeste. I
and his
didn't
crew
even
were
think
never
about
seen again.
Spooner.
This game is the final legacy of a real God-fearing sea captain.
Wow.
Grab your Chicago style and get on JSTOR. It's time to learn. Limbo of the Lost was a book originally published in 1969. It got republished in the 70s as Limbo of the Lost, Actual Stories of Sea Mysteries. There were several articles and a few books talking about the Bermuda Triangle before this one, but this helped popularize it. The real course of the ship was nowhere near the triangle, but here's where things get a little tricky. So I went to my buddy Tex from the Black Pants Legion. He's done historical work specializing in maritime history, so he'd be perfect. At this point, I knew that the real Mary Celeste was one of those weird sea mysteries. It was found derelict near Portugal with no crew, all the cargo intact, but a missing lifeboat. Some of the sails and rigging were damaged, but that was about it. Now here's where things get complicated. Sir Arthur Doyle, the guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes, had a short story published in 1884. It was in an issue of Cornhill magazine and was based on the real Mary Celeste. He just changed minor details and names, like calling the ship the Marie Celeste. The story ended up being so popular that to this day it corrupts historical documents about the real ship. The U.S. consul in Gibraltar, who had been present at Mary Celeste's hearings, would later make inquiries based on the story's facts. After Tex did some groundwork and things, he found out the big discrepancy: the cargo. Doyle's account puts the cargo value at $35,000, which is worth more than the ship. The alcohol was also going to be used to fortify wines, but that's not how this works. The real ship had 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, most likely pyridine and methylate spirits. This wouldn't be how port and fortified wine were made. They would use a neutral grape spirit, most likely locally, not from overseas. Not to mention that port was mainly a cocktail mixer in the Victorian era. Shipping booze across the Atlantic to make ratchet peasant wine would have been stupid and expensive. So any account saying the cargo is worth $35K and being used to fortify alcohol is wrong, and written by brainlets. This eliminates most accounts of mutiny and aliens. So was Briggs eaten by his crew?
Yeah, I like the little
Most likely it's a
history
years
lesson.
before this game was made. Dr. Andrea Sella,
Well, I guess the game is kind of supposed to be about a real person, but what happened when he disappeared, I guess. But in that case, I'd be like, well, what happens in the game? Does he just die? I mean, he is in hell already. Does he just stay there? Like, what? Because the actual person was never seen again.
As much as the simplest solution makes sense, other tantalizing evidence suggests another fate for the Mary Celeste.
The first mate's wife claims that on the night of November 25th, she had a dream.
No way.
That said that her husband had been murdered at sea.
Please stop. The new owners of the Mary Celeste then took it to a reef off the coast of Haiti and tried to wreck it there for 6 insurance policies. They didn't get it. Speaking of scams, the developers claim they didn't steal anything. It was all done by a mysterious person or entity that they outsourced. Well, guess what we're coming back to? Remember the Amiga demo? This hallway is the key. There's another Amiga game called Guy Spy, and people pointed out some striking similarities in this hallway. That's right, even back then, they were ripping people off. This game is legendary. So, let's move on to the final chapter.
Wow.
You mentioned something interesting.
Fucking mech? What is this?
New research. He claims that what they're doing in Africa is the missing piece.
That is not the audio.
Weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
Oh, okay, Metal Gear. Okay, he's bad in this. Okay.
This is another
I was
short
like,
one made up on real maps, but I like it a lot more aesthetically.
like, okay,
The
it's
original
getting
score,
embarrassing
Amy
how
Whitman's
much you
one,
ripping
is
shit.
also really good. The puzzle's just matching up a right hammer with the right head on the wall, and you're good to go. Still, for the final level in this adventure, it seems like a letdown. It did seem rational at first. After all, they couldn't expect a ton of people to get this far. But then the true final challenge began.
It's very dark down here. What?
Okay. What time is so? Yes. What?
That is a legitimately awesome build-up. This is a time challenge. Remember, where each head was and activate them in order of a
Confused.
This is not a lenient timer.
Damn, you're right. That time is not lenient at all.
I got all the symbols, but now there's letters. Looks like destiny. The timer keeps going and you don't have time to screw around. You're going to be at the bottom, so you need to get those letters in as fast as you can. Once you do, you've won it all. I'm saving the best ending for last. This comes
The
out.
end, or is
He's upset that Destiny has beaten him, and so they opt in for a
cut the
double or
game
nothing. That's right.
Cut the
they
game
were
off.
already teasing a sequel. We both know a lot of reasons why that's not
Teasing
gonna
a sequel.
For those same reasons, I would highly recommend checking it out.
Wow,
Or
the
getting a copy.
audacity.
Surprisingly, there were a lot of legal issues after this game came out,
Oh,
so the retail
I'm
value
not
is
surprised.
At the time of this video, you can still find wrapped copies for $15 to $20 US, but those won't last forever. This isn't getting a digital release or an enhanced edition anytime soon. For all its problems, it's such a bizarre
Yeah, I
and funny
wonder
experience
why.
that for someone like me, I couldn't help but keep going. And nothing reflects its spirit better than the real ending. Thanks for watching. These videos
Wait a
are
minute, that one
increasingly
person
hard to
did
make
all
due to
that?
Scheduling issues, but I'm trying to do it when I can. At some point in the near future, I'll have a special showing of this game on Twitch, same name as the YouTube one. If you stuck around this long, thanks again, and here's the.
Yeah, damn it! I shouldn't.
Can't see a thing.
Captain Bridge, the king of Limbo. What the fuck is wrong with her fingers? Ain't no way they thought this was serious. Oh, those are his lips. I thought those was teeth. The fucking minstrel show? What the fuck is that? Man of arms. The fuck is going on? Oh my god. This can't be. Yeah, there's no way they thought they took this seriously. This is like just a. I'm still like the 20-year thing is still throwing me off. Like to dedicate 20 years, your life to something that you like as a big joke is weird. Turtles in Time. What the fuck are you guys playing? Made me wish that made me wish I had named my channel Limbo, The Lost. Oh my god, what was that? Like, oh my, that was insane. Like that, I don't even know really what to say. Like, like I would say, maybe it's so bad it's good. I mean, I'm the type of person. I was like, hey, like they use The Room. I've seen The Room, and I've watched The Room. It's one of those movies that I've watched with friends. Like I watched it the first time by myself, and watched it with friends the second time because like you gotta look. We were drinking. I said y'all gotta look at this, and it gets a big laugh. But that is not something that I would watch again and by myself. The only reason I watched it the first time because I heard how bad it was. There is no way that I would watch The Room by itself, like by myself again. Like it's funny, but it's funny in a way, like I said, that it wasn't what the director intended. He didn't intend it to be funny. He wanted it to be serious. At least from what I've seen in interviews of him. But I don't know, playing a game, because it's one thing watching something, just sitting there just looking at it. And I can be doing other things while I'm looking at it, multitasking, I guess. But when you playing a game, if that game, if that game is bad, like I don't even, I don't even know how you play that. I don't know how you play that game. With as bad as it is, like I said, Never Dead compared to this is a goddamn masterpiece. I will play that. Like if you gave me these two games, Never Did and this game, Limbo or Lost, there's no way in hell I would play, knowing that what this game was. There's no way. And like I said, Never Did. I'm like this guy, and I'm trying to give it any benefit of the doubt that I can. But Never Did, like a delay, like a second or something in my video. Maybe it'll be fine. But anyway, it's like Never Did. Like I said, certain part of the game suck. The the platforming, I think, is horrible, especially that they have you trying to platform with just your head and the controls aren't great. The fact that your body, like as the game progressed, pretty much after like the first level, and the enemies get tougher, you like explode after like a couple hits, and you got to try to roll yourself back up because you roll over your limbs. And luckily in that game, you can, I forget what button you press, but it highlights your body parts. Because like I was like, without that, this game would be impossible because everything is looks almost like it's like it's almost like it's not the same color, but I guess it's like the same texture. It's weird. Like, 'cause I was like, yeah, is that my arm? And then I was, oh yeah, I can press this button and it'll highlight like your arm or something like that, or leg or torso. But that game is leagues, but like 20 years. I don't know if I believe that either. 20 years. Was that shaking? Because I was like, there's my arm. Oh, the camera's not even really moving that much. I was concerned about that. 20 years? There is no way. That I mean, well, I guess at least they put some out. I mean, hell, I basically spent like accumulated probably like 5, 6 years in college. I don't have a degree. Changing majors, uh, dropping out, or switching schools and shit. And like, oh, this credits don't transfer. But and that's at least they finished and put something out. But I guess I don't know. That'd be like going to college and then cheating the whole time. And then I got the degree, but I don't know shit because I cheated. But hey, I mean, nowadays it don't even matter. A lot of places just want you to have a degree. Yeah, it's not in the field of study that you get a degree in. Yeah, but you got a degree. That's all that matters. Like, which makes no sense to me. But yeah, this was good. I like this guy. He broke that down very well. I enjoyed that. I like the history lesson about like the Mary Celeste. I didn't even know that there was an actual guy. Because I read about the Mary Celeste, but I don't remember ever reading about someone named Spooner Briggs. Cause like, that sounds like a porn. Spooner Briggs. A black porn star. Oh, the Briggs for some reason sound like a black person's last name. But I like the breakdown of actual history that he put in there before it makes sense. Well, I guess because the game was like, oh, yeah, this is supposed to be. It's the same guy. I mean, same character, same name. So I'm like, it's supposed to be that guy, and this is. I'm assuming is supposed to be the story of what happened when he disappeared. Because we don't know what happened to the crew and stuff. But they didn't show any of the crew's brothers, so they just showed him. And he's in hell. I was like, did he die? Because I completely forgot that. That they said at the beginning he went to hell. That's when they ripped off Spawn in the movie. Opening a scene where Michael J. White, who am I forgetting the Spawn character's name? Not Jason Wynn, that's the other character. Why can't I remember Spawn's character's name? That before it became Spawn. Al Simmons. Yeah, before when he died and went to hell. Maybe I'll do a reaction to that. I actually liked him. Especially when I was a kid, I first saw it. I was like, because I read Spawn comic books. I was like, oh shit, Spawn. I mean, yeah, it's not the best, but when I was a kid watching that, shit, that was my shit. Now, when I got a little older, it's like I got more critical. But this going on for way too long. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my reaction one. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. Share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.